This is a tutorial to introduce compare and contrast essay from systematic functional linguistics perspective. So in terms of systematic functional linguistics, we see language as a combination of language and content. So basically, when you read a paper, you need to refer back to the content. Like if you write a compare and contrast essay, that will dictate what kind of language you will use in the essay to indicate compare and contrast. So let's see what are the knowledge we need to know from systematic functional linguistic perspective. So in this field, we summarize all the knowledge or the information we need to express in terms of knowledge framework. There are 6 elements for the knowledge framework. We have knowledge for classification, like you classify different things, or principles. You know about the rules, the theories. Evaluation, like you try to evaluate the qualities of things. And description, sequence, and choice. So each of these boxes has its own thinking skills. So for different knowledge, we have different thinking skills, and we have different key visuals. When you visualize this knowledge, you will draw up different charts. And language, for different kinds of knowledge, we use different types of language to express a specific type of knowledge. Like, so for example, for a classification, you probably will use language like is classified as, is divided up, something like this. And for the compare and contrast, it is nested under description. So compare and contrast is a way to realize description. Okay. Here we have the thinking skills, key visuals, and language for description. The thinking skills we needed for description includes we tell us the details, and labeling show us the parts, and comparing tell us what is the same between 2 or more objects, and contrasting. Contrasting can tell us what are the difference, what difference is between 2 or more objects. So through the 4 ways, we can think of description. We can realize description. There are some key visuals that we can use to help us to organize the knowledge. Like we can use trees, and we can use web, like all the knowledge are linking together, or we can use a chart to organize this thinking, this knowledge. And also when you organize this knowledge in your mind, or you draw up a chart, you need to put that into words, into a writing. So there are some language we need to use. So for example, we can use language like all words used in labeling, diagrams, pictures, and maps. We use those label words, and we may use adjectives like slow calls. Slow is adjective. We give some description. And for comparing, we can use same as, similar to, and both alike. Contrasting, there may be different, not the same as, but however, whereas and while. Here, we have a Venn diagram. Most frequently, we draw a Venn diagram when we are trying to write up a compare and contrast essay, because that will organize your knowledge very clearly, organize your information in a very direct way. Here we compare 2 presidents of the United States. In the middle, as we usually did, we listed all the similarities between the 2 presidents. And besides, at the left-hand side and right-hand side, we write up their individual features, things that are different from each other. And when you try to describe the Venn diagram, you need to rely on some languages that you need to use. Like for language, and when you are comparing, when you talk about the similarities, you use same as, similar to, both, or alike. For example, go back to the chart. So both of the presidents are from Illinois, so you can say same as Lincoln, President Obama is also from Illinois. So you need to use the specific language to indicate similarity. And also for contrasting, we have different or different from, not the same as, but, however, whereas, and while to describe the differences. For example, when we describe the things not in the middle, that means there are differences. We need to use these languages. Like, for example, President Lincoln had long hair. However, President Obama had short hair, etc. So every time when you think of compare and contrast, you don't usually just give this information, put all this information in your writing. You need to compare and contrast, which means don't forget to use this language, such as same as, similar, both alike, and different, not the same as, but, however, whereas, and while. Because when you are using this language, you are not just giving information, you are compare and contrast. That's so much for the lecture, and hope you will use this language skillfully while you write up your compare and contrast essay. Thank you for listening.